If I wasn't hoarse, if I wasn't a little bit hoarse, we'd sing that song. How great is our God? The one who is infinite in power. He is infinite in wisdom. He is infinite in strength. Nothing can stand against him when he decides to move it. There is no rock so heavy that he can't lift it. There is no irresistible force except God. There is no enemy that he cannot blow away like the little cotton spores on a dandelion when you puff on it. Our God is so big and so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. And all this strength is turned toward goodness, towards establishing justice, toward accomplishing what's good, not just for himself, but for the people who look to him for help. And so in Psalm 111, God's deeds are so impressive. He gives food to the world. He remains faithful to his promises. He stands up for the oppressed. He relieves the suffering of the ones that he loves. And I might add, we're going to head for the Lord's Supper. The Lord's Supper is a remembrance of his love and his covenant, his commitment to us. He has promised to protect us. He has promised to rescue us. And through Jesus, that is exactly what he has done. And you remember that Jesus says this about the cup. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. And God remembers his covenant forever. Psalm 111. Praise the Lord. I will extol the Lord with all my heart in the council of the upright and in the assembly. Great are the works of the Lord. They are pondered by all who delight in them. Glorious and majestic are his deeds, and his righteousness endures forever. He has caused his wonders to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and compassionate. He provides food for those who fear him. He remembers his covenant forever. He has shown his people the power of his works, giving them the lands of other nations. The works of his hands are faithful and just. All his precepts are trustworthy. They are established forever and ever, enacted in faithfulness and uprightness. He provided redemption for his people. He ordained his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. Expect that there would be some great benefits to being right with God, wouldn't you? That only makes sense. If God is pleased with you, God delights in you, God has power, God is full of compassion, mercy, and strength, it stands to reason that he would take care of you, just like a father and a mother care for their children. There would be family, there would be prosperity, there would be goodness, and all the wicked would stand around and be jealous because of all the good things that come to God's people. Things go well and things go right for God's people. Now, I say that without a shred of irony. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, things don't always go that way. It don't go that well. And that's true, and there are psalms that deal with that. But this very thing is what we expect from God, isn't it? That good things happen for good people. We come to God and we proclaim the gospel, Now, you need to understand that God is inconsistent, and God is touchy, and God is scary. And he hurts his people. And we think, that's not good news. No. That's not what we're proclaiming. This is neither God's character nor his promise. That is not what we expect about God. And by the way, as we read Psalm 112, you may wonder what we're doing taking up our collection right after the reading of this psalm. Verse 5 of this psalm says, good will come to those who are generous and lend freely, who conduct their affairs with justice. And that is not a verse that says give so you can receive, but that is rather that those who imitate God, those who follow after God can expect that things will go well with them, because godliness has its rewards. Psalm 112. Praise the Lord. Blessed are those who fear the Lord, who find great delight in his commands. Their children will be mighty in the land. The generation of the upright will be blessed. Wealth and riches are in their houses, and their righteousness endures forever. Even in darkness, light dawns for the upright, for those who are gracious and compassionate and righteous. Good will come to those who are generous and lend freely, who conduct their affairs with justice. Surely the righteous will never be shaken. They will be remembered forever. They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Their hearts are secure. They will have no fear. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes. They have freely scattered their gifts to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Their horn will be lifted high in honor. The wicked will see and be vexed. They will gnash their teeth and waste away. The longings of the wicked will come to nothing. You, his servants, praise the name of the Lord. Let the name of the Lord be praised both now and forevermore. From the rising of the sun to the place where it sets, the name of the Lord is to be praised. The Lord is exalted over all the nations, his glory above the heavens. Who is like the Lord our God, the one who sits enthroned on high, who stoops down to look on the heavens and the earth? He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes of his people. He settles the childless woman in her home as a happy mother of children. Praise the Lord. How great is our God. God who has to bend over to see this tiny universe. This God in his greatness who bends over not to look at princes and not to look at the powerful and the wealthy and admire everything they have, but he bends over to see the poor and the needy, not the high and the mighty who think we're something, but the poor and needy who have no other protector. This week, I encourage you to be alert to the goodness of the Lord our God, and let his goodness shape your heart and your attitude and your actions. We worship this Jesus who went about doing good and who gave his life to make things better on earth, to make people joyful and forgiven and free. And so I encourage you to share your faith, to share what you know about God and what you have experienced about God and what you know to be true about Jesus, and be a psalm of praise in your world this week. Let's stand and let's sing. And if you need to come to Jesus today, would you please come?